And I've turned up to this war council like, listen, bro, I don't want no revenge on my behalf, you know. Furthermore, I forgive the guy that shot me.
Grownish, smartish, British.
We are British, apparently.
No way.
Someone's trying to play tricks on you, trying to make you go crazy. Yeah, go for it. I'm a feeder, man. Help yourself. There's a whole corner shop in the corner. Literally. Yeah, literally. We have Zakarriyah in the building.
Hello.
Do you mind me calling Zakarriyah?
That's fine. Zakarriyah is perfect.
Yeah?
It just makes it. I like it because obviously you speak Arabic, so
yeah,
you can say
that
it.
I say it the freshy way.
You say it correct.
Yeah, Zakarriyah.
Correct.
That's cool. It's cool. Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I remember when you and I first got to talking.
Yes.
I was in a podcast.
Yes.
You mentioned something about a podcast that you'd like to do.
Yep.
So did you speak this into existence, or was this happening already?
No, it was the plans were in action.
Motion.
They were in motion.
Yeah.
So I was just on a specific journey. If you know, anyway, we'll get through it hopefully.
Of course.
But so it was just about timing and putting other things in place in order for me to get to that stage. Yeah.
And it looks so clean.
It's good.
So for those who don't know, you have a podcast called
Life After Prison and Ex Conversation. Two.
So,
exactly.
You got two,
Yeah,
and
two.
you're promoting the two today.
Yeah.
One on your chest.
Yeah.
Literally.
One on the chest, one on the mouth. But yeah.
Yeah. So and that's part of the National Prison.
Part of National Prison Radio. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So how did you get into that?
Okay, so with National Prison Radio, it's something that only people who have been to prison know, or if you work there, then you know. It's like, imagine it's a national radio station just for prison.
Mad.
It's mad, isn't it? It's a mad concept when you think of it like that, because when I explain it to other people, they're like, where can I listen to it? I'm like, boy, you got to be in a jailhouse for that. So what they did is they work with people who are inside to produce the shows.
Okay, nice.
And members of the public whose lives have been affected by the criminal justice system, or they've just got an interest in that field, they work on the show as well. So in that capacity, they wanted to find something to continue the service on the outside for when people get released. So then that's where the idea for Life After Prison was born.
So Life After Prison didn't exist until you guys came along.
Yeah.
You co-host.
So to me and it was a what's that called, a brainchild of, like, you know, the people that it's based in Brixton Prison, by the way.
Okay.
That's where the radio station's based, in it.
So you have to get searched in and out all the time.
Yeah, but like it's a weird experience because obviously I'm a free man in it. So when they're searching me and that, it's just a bit like.
But it's a different kind of energy because you're walking in going, I know I've done nothing wrong. So this is
but
a different feeling.
They look at you like,
what are you doing here?
And I'm not here, but I'm free, baby.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing that for now?
We've been doing that since April this year.
Sick.
Yeah, and we've only just released it last month, so it's been a lot of work in the making.
I've been watching.
Yeah.
I was excited when I saw it. I was like, yeah, okay. Because I remember you speaking about it and me going, do you think a lot of people talk about podcasting?
Yeah.
And it's like a trend.
Yeah.
I've been podding for years, and it's just like Aladdin gets tired of hearing that I've been podding for years, but I have been podding for years.
Yeah.
Because people just assume someone's jumping on a wave.
Literally.
But for you had a purpose.
100%.
And I feel like when I pod, I do with purpose. I want to have conversations that, you know, someone can reflect on, relate, resonate with, something to make them think about. Do you know what I mean? Even if I make you laugh, you know, smiling is sunnah, laughter is sunnah too. So let's do this. So for me, like, I respect the fact that you kind of had an idea, you found that market, and you just went for it.
Yeah, I feel like you said, if you've got some substance or you want to have something with some substance behind it, why not go for it? Because then you're in it for the long haul. It's not just, I just want to do it to jump on whatever everyone's doing.
It feeds your soul as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And it gives you a sense of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Fulfillment? Yeah,
I'm able to use my lived experience in a way that can benefit other people.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, because you've changed your narrative.
Yes.
And you can
still changing it. I think I'm still in that process because sorry to cut you as well. That's cool. Bad of me.
I'm queen of interjecting, so don't worry. We're gonna be all right today.
All right, cool. So like, I feel like I'm still on that journey because even though I've been out of prison a long time now, well, I say it's a long time. It's like 2.5 years I've been out now.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't committed a crime since 2016.
Okay.
So that's a space of time. But there's still elements that can drag you back in.
Yeah.
So
I want to
I'm
get
still
into
navigating
that.
Yeah.
Because it's a journey, effectively.
Literally.
So I always start the episode with what's your favorite quote? What's your favorite quote, sir?
Okay. So can I say it in Arabic first? Yeah.
Of course.
So La yukallifu nafsan wus'aha.
Okay.
My Arabic ain't the best.
No, but we
Yeah.
hear you.
So that basically loosely translates as Allah does not burden a soul more than it can bear, or God does not burden a soul more than it can carry. Yeah.
When you sent me that quote, I literally was like, no way, because I literally was on a podcast yesterday, and they asked me what my favorite quote is, and I literally have this. I think it's on my WhatsApp status for the last like 10 years.
Wow.
Which is life. God only gives you what you can handle. Obviously,
Facts.
it's worded differently.
Yeah.
Why is that your favorite quote?
All right. Okay, so
We can unpack.
that's cool. In life, everyone's got that. You got that one that, everything happens for a reason. Well, it's fact. There is a reason to everything you go through in your life.
Mm-hmm.
There is a reason why you've gone through everything you've gone through and you're still here today.
What?
Because if you couldn't handle it, you wouldn't be here. So when you hit that ayah in the Quran, I think it's in Surah Al-Baqarah. If you hit that ayah in the Quran and you read that bit, it makes perfect sense. Like, who knows creation better than the creator? Yeah.
Before you, obviously, we'll speak about you reverting.
Cool.
But did you ever have that mindset and then you resonated with the quote from the Quran?
Yeah.
Or that was a moment where everything sort of clicked in?
Believe it or not, my mum instilled that in us.
Shout out to Mumsy.
Yeah. Big up mum. Yeah. So mum has got a positive attitude. Life weren't easy for my mum. And obviously me and my brothers made it harder or more difficult. But she was always like, listen, we keep going, keep moving, we keep like going through. We take the knocks and we keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So having that instilled with me and being involved in what I was involved in, it's like, bruv, we handle anything that comes our way. We're going to keep moving. And then when you actually deep it and you've been through whatever you've been through, you realize in the moment, this is a mad thing. This is mad. This is really hard. How am I gonna?
It seems overwhelming.
But then when you get through it, you can look back on it and you could even laugh at times. Like, I was really stressed out them times.
Yeah.
But it weren't even that deep.
And the thing is, the average person can't laugh back at their pain.
You think so?
As in, sometimes some people, I think, they hold on to that pain and it shapes who they are in a bad way. Sometimes they're just like, I'm a victim. And I think no matter how much hardship I've gone through, I never feel like a victim. And I actually look at my hardest moments and I laugh in disbelief to also think about how peak it was.
Yeah.
And how much I thought it was literally game over. Like emotionally, mentally drained, done. Like I can't see a way out. And then to know that constant mindset of God will only give you what you can handle means I need to keep going because there will be a light. I don't know where this light is. I can't even see a little tiny light. But I have to have faith. And I always say Alhamdulillah, which is I thank God every single time, whether it's good or bad. Even when I go for hardship, people are like, why are you saying Alhamdulillah for? Like you just said so-and-so, like someone effed you over.
Yeah.
And I say, because there's a blessing behind it.
100%.
Where that blessing is, we will go figure eventually.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, shout out to God for that one because
100%.
I needed that. And I think that's what's taken me through all my hardest points
Without
in
a
life.
doubt.
So when you mentioned that, I was like, yes.
Spot on. I think, and having that mantra, people say it's a mantra, but having that firm belief, there's nothing that can throw you off.
No.
Obviously, we have good and bad days. But there's nothing that can like put you to a point where you're like, I can't do this no more, or you're extremely stressed. Do you get what I'm
really
saying?
defeated and deflated. And I think as humans we're flawed. Obviously our mental well-being fluctuates.
Yes.
And there's times where we're very sure of who we are and we know we can conquer anything. And there's times where the self-doubt kicks in and everything just seems bleak. And it's okay to feel that way, but you need to learn to coach yourself out of it.
100%.
And that coaching sometimes is exhausting, where you're just like, I'm tired of having to like talk myself into everything happens for a reason.
Facts.
God only gives you what can give you. Like it's like all these things are quite exhausting, but at the end of it, if you continue with that narrative, the only way's up.
Literally.
It might not be straight away. It
The
might take a very long time.
Whenever you're at a moment where you're like, this is quite peak, it can not be worse. It can only get better, right? So if you start with that belief or that positive reinforcement, then that kind of helps as well, because if you're already in a negative situation and then you've got a negative mindset on top of that, that's double beating yourself up.
Yeah, and I feel bad for people who kind of coast through life that way, because I'm just like, all you need to do is just change your lens. Just change it. And it sounds easy. I know it's easier said than done.
Facts.
But the minute you get purpose, and while we're here, the minute everything makes sense. Even the like I said, the peakest moment will be like, do you know what? I needed that in order to shape who I am today.
Facts.
And then the minute you change that negative into a positive, it empowers you.
100%. Like, for example, you got two, so hear this, I don't want to go to work today, I don't like my job. Or, alhamdulillah, I've got a job to go to today.
Shout out to that.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Something
it's a
very,
humbling moment.
very simple. You know what? I'm eating rice and chicken again.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, you got
That's
food on your
That's
plate.
it. That's
Like,
it.
do you get what I mean?
Yeah, because I went through a moment where I was like, I felt like I couldn't do much for my son. Like, that's my hardest moment, was one of my hardest moments. And that was like, I felt like financially I couldn't do a lot for him. I felt quite disabled financially, and that was a big deal for me, struggling. And I remember someone saying to me, Hebz, does he have a roof? He's like, yeah. Is he surrounded by love? Yeah. Is he being fed? I'm like, yeah. She went to say alhamdulillah, keep it going.
Big up, spud that person.
Yeah. But the thing is, I knew all this, but at that time you don't
see that. Yeah, that's true.
Because I preach that stuff, but when it comes to you, sometimes you do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, you can give the advice, but taking it is a different medicine, right?
100%. So back to Zakarriyah.
Yes.
Growing up, because I like to go through a journey, like childhood to adult life to even like future parenthood. Even if are you a parent?
Not yet.
So things like that. How do you
technically? I'm an uncle to many. Yeah. So
that's
all of
cool.
That's
cool.
You know what
do
I mean?
you have any godfather titles?
All of that.
Titles?
All of that.
The works.
Loads of them. Oh,
so your pockets are constantly burning.
You know what I tell them now? I come in there empty.
You just empty the pockets
I'm
from
bringing
you
love.
Outwardly.
Hella love I'm bringing you. Nah.
I always say I can pay
I
your
always
pugs.
look after. Nah, I look after them.
That's cool, man.
Nice.
I appreciate that. So in regards to growing up, what did home look like to you? What was your setup? Like, was it mum and dad's?
Okay, it was mum and dad. So I was born in 91.
Okay.
Yeah. It was mum and dad till 99.
Okay.
So at 8 years old, there was 4 of us. My sister was just born, my younger sister. So she was number 4 of my mum and dad.
Okay.
So she was born in 99, and then dad left in 99 as well.
Okay.
So up until that point, it was mum and dad. It was nice. You know how it is, isn't it? You know, mum and dad in the house. My dad was a bus driver. So even sometimes he'll bring the bus home. My dad was a G like that.
Sick.
So we'd
Come
play.
on, kids, jump on!
We'd literally play like in the bus.
That's
like
mad,
on the
bro.
mad thing, yeah?
Was it back in the day when you had the ding, ding, ding on top?
Yeah, it was the, you know,
The
like
string.
what they've got nowadays. Well, the new version where you can hop on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Doors
was that
open.
kind of
Yeah,
bus. Yeah.
That's sick. That's mad.
Um,
So what happens after that?
So then, like, dad left in it, obviously. Parent stuff in it. So at that time, I don't know where I've gone. You just know that, your dad's not coming in the house no more. So that changed. And then it's like my mum started to treat me as an adult from then. So now.
What was your position in order of
Okay,
age?
so older brother.
You had an older brother.
Older brother was, at the time, he was born in 87. So he's 12.
So you had a slight age gap.
Yeah, so 12, 8. And then my younger brother's 6. And then my sister was just born. Newborn.
Yeah.
That's the age range.
So your sister never really got to know your dad.
She did though, because dad was still about.
Okay.
For her though, like
Interesting.
his focus was her, innit?
Because she's a daughter.
Yeah, she's the daughter.
Cool.
You know, his youngest born. So a lot of love went to her from my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is cool, it's fine, innit? Dads and daughters, it's a thing, innit?
Apparently it's a special bond.
It's a thing. It is. But likewise, mums and sons is a special bond.
100%.
So from that moment, my mum treated me as an adult. I started to learn about bills. I started to learn about, this is how we're going to budget. This is what we can do. This at 8 years old. Okay, you're going to learn how to cook. I learn how to cook.
That's
from
incredible.
then. All of these things, you got to clean up the house. This is how you clean. This is what you use. All of that. Change your nappies. This is how you're going to bath your sister. All of that. So I'm learning all of this stuff from 8.
Yeah.
But one thing I can say is that opened my eyes to how much my mum used to do for us.
Up to that point.
Yeah.
And probably ongoing anyway.
Ongoing. So then when she used to say stuff, I used to tell my brothers and sisters, like, nah, chill. Like, yeah.
Like,
I'll back mum,
Give her a
basically.
break.
Yeah, I'll back mum. If she's like, no, we can't have that, and they're moaning and that. Because mums, for you, if your son wants something, does it hurt you if you don't give it to him?
To be able to say no is painful.
There you go. So,
and for you to actually say no means that's how bad it is.
yeah. So when it's that, and my mum don't want to say no, but I know it's kind of peak right now. I'm like, listen, shut up, man. Mum, don't worry. Make her feel a bit okay. Do you get what I'm saying?
But you know what? I respect your mum for being able to verbalize that she needed your help. Like, by her teaching you these things means that she was able, because a lot of parents, when these situations happen, especially when, like, I'm guessing she came to the country and then you guys were born here, right?
Yes.
So when you've come straight from a different country, especially, I mean, African households, I don't know how it is in different parts of the world, they're very prideful people who expect to just soldier through things.
Facts.
So for her to not internalize everything and just kind of try to do everything herself, that's incredible for her own mental well-being. That she's able to share that with you guys.
Listen, mum, I don't know what it is. There's a different kind of resilience in my mum. Like, I remember she told me a story that I was fairly new born. I was about 6 months old or something, and she had my older brother. Some guy tried to rob her bag at the train station. She said, the way I flung him round, holding you and your brothers, and I flung him. He fell down and said, you trying to rob me?
Good.
You know what I'm saying? Not like she had much in her purse, but whatever was in that bag, she ain't letting that go.
No.
So, like, hearing that, big up mum, hearing that strength. And then, like, also, there was times where you could see it's getting to mum, because then she's working. So she's working, and
so was Pop still providing? Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, I don't want to get onto my dad. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to get onto him or diss him in any way. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. Do you know what I'm saying? But
it's
like,
not about that.
he could have done more, without a doubt. And what he was giving, he made it clear that what I'm giving to you guys is not for you boys. So imagine hearing this. So he was like, what I'm giving to your mum is not for you boys, it's for her. Do you get that? Their money's come. For my sister. Cool. So the only reason you're getting any money, or I'm contributing to this household.
I wonder the interesting mindset behind that. Whether he feels like men are just stronger, but then that doesn't equate to finances.
We were all teenagers at that time, but young teenagers. So I think I was still in secondary school, like early, like year 8 or year 9. Do you feel like the fact that financially, and it sounds like a heavy word to use, but financially you're deprived from your pops, right? Like, he wasn't necessarily willingly giving you funds, and you obviously had your mum's back, and you had a very soft spot for your mum. Yeah. Does that have any link to why you started getting yourself in trouble? Yeah, of course. That was the main reason for me hustling or being taken to like the street life to make money. Was because you don't want to be a burden to your mum. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Instead of me taking that mindset and doing something else in a different way, I was like, I'm going to hit the roads and make some peas. And that way, I ain't got to ask mum for money. I can slip money in her purse without her knowing. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I could be like, I'm going to buy everyone trainers. You know what I'm saying? Takeaways on me.
When did you start? Obviously, you're getting caught, and when you started, that's
two different things, of course. So I'm talking, the first kind of crime was like 13.
What was going through your mind, and how did you sort of even find that opportunity?
All right, so this is one thing that we've got to look into. Like, it's a different generation, yeah? Like, at 13, we were grown, but not... Like, 13 now is like, you're a kid, you're a baby. But 13 back then, I don't know. We used to play runouts at 8, 9. So we know the whole area. We know... Do you get what I'm saying? I think kids grew up differently in that time. So I remember me and my boys were like, wow, we're broke, man. Like, we need to get money. So...
It's interesting at 13 you think you're broke when actually, but you're 13.
Yeah, I know.
Why does brokenness even?
It doesn't make sense,
equated to it?
Because we know that our mums and dads, our parents can't provide, and this is the thing. I'm being real. They provided what we needed,
but not what you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, as kids, you want to look good.
You're in school and it's like, my man's got. Listen, I got my first pair of Nikes. Yeah. At 13.
Okay.
And
you paid for that?
No, mum.
Okay.
And mum made it very abundantly clear I bought it for everyone. All 3 of you boys got Nikes.
Okay.
Enjoy. Make it last.
Because you ain't gonna be
It
getting
ain't coming
anytime
again.
soon.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we knew we weren't financially as well off as we'd like to be. So we were like, listen, we need to make some peas. And then we started doing little things here and there. You know, petty stuff like we'll steal something like that or teeth
That
of phone.
newsagent kind of thing.
Yeah,
or as
no,
in people them.
Nah, people in it. You know what I'm saying? Which is bad. Listen,
Of
I'm
course,
not
you're
here.
trying to
I'm not
promote
here.
it, so
Yeah. You know. And then obviously it progresses in it. So from 14, you're doing little petty thefts and robberies, and then progressing to like more sophisticated robberies. But like we were just like, it's money. You get the money, and keep it.
And
moving.
I can imagine just by default we're all guilty of it. Like when we see something, we want more of it, and when we realize we can get more of something, and the quickness of it, and rather than because then you start thinking, right, I got to work mad shifts to get this, to even get a fraction of it. So it's definitely I can understand the mindset because you don't think about the repercussions.
Oh, that was never. We knew that was there. Like it was. You
It
get
just
caught,
wouldn't
you
be
go in
you.
jail or whatever. But it's like it's not gonna happen to us. Not us.
Yeah.
We're too smart or we're too careful or whatever. But imagine this. So imagine going from I just want to make some money to help out the household to now household's calm.
But I still want some more.
I want this. I want that. I want
Shaitan's strong.
strong. And obviously that's human nature. You want more.
100%.
You want more. You get greedy. And my plan was, so I started 13, 14, yeah? My plan was 18, uni, cut the roads off. Yeah?
A retirement plan. Yeah. The streets retirement plan.
Literally, that was me.
Yeah.
Till 18, and I hit
yeah.
uni and boom, because I was in sixth form at the time and whatnot. Then didn't make it. I didn't finish my second year of sixth form. So I didn't do my A-levels.
Because you got kicked out?
No, because I ended up in prison. I started the term, the second year with tag. So I'm already, they don't even know I've got case pending and this case is peak. So yeah, I didn't even make it to, I think it was.
Did you really want to go to uni?
Yeah, I wanted to be a psychologist.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's never
sports
too late.
psychology. It's never too late, I know, but I don't know. Maybe that bus has missed me, maybe.
Maybe in 10 years from time, you
Who
might
knows,
have a
man?
different set of mind.
Who knows?
Or you'll be doing it in different ways,
Who knows?
maybe. Do you feel like, okay, firstly, what area did you grow up in?
I grew up in East London, so Newham, East London.
I don't know why you're doing gunshots, mate. Sit there in your corner. Shout out to West London.
Everyone.
Yes.
London's
yes.
London, man.
Well,
I think
it's a very small place.
it's a small world,
Everyone's
man.
overlapping, man.
Yeah, literally.
Do you feel like you were a product of your environment? Like, do you feel like it was what your environment sort of dictated? If times get hard, this is kind of the route we take.
You know what? To a certain extent, yes. But at the same time, there was still the school teacher who was black, African man. There was still the postman that you see going to work. There was still the dinner lady. There was still the woman, your auntie or
That you
your
can
neighbor.
identify with.
They were all working. Everyone around us, all our parents were working.
Mm.
We had a lot of single parents in my friendship circle, but everyone's mum was working. So it's not like we didn't know about work ethic and going to. We just was like, that's long. When we could do a robbery and collect thousands, like we're sharing between 15 people, thousands.
Yeah,
Like, because even if, and this is the thing that what our thing was, even if it's 5 man that have done whatever, all 20 of us is going to have money. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, however you guys agreed to do it.
We just, yeah.
I ain't here trying to teach no one nothing, so don't
Yeah,
take no pen
I'm
and
just
paper
saying
out.
that was what we was on. But
Yeah. So it just, to you, it just didn't make, it made sense to just do it.
So for us, it was like, well, if we got this option and it's working, why not? At the same time, our youth workers now are telling us, listen, you're going to end up in jail. Stop what you lot are doing. Like, you lot are moving
Did you
hot.
feel a bit invincible?
Yeah, man. 'Cause especially when you're doing certain things and you have mad close calls and you're like, whoo. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
So then
you just keep pushing it.
Yeah, of course you do. But at the same time, we knew that at some point it's going to end. Either you stop.
Or they'll stop you.
Yeah.
Okay, so first time you went to prison.
Cool. 2009.
How did mum feel?
Oh, mate.
How did you feel?
Because I remember I told you I was on tag, yeah? So in the back of my mind, I know that this case is serious. Excuse me. I know this case is serious, yeah? Because a couple of my co-Ds were already on remand. So I'm like, okay. And then it was just about enjoying life as much as possible until court.
It's time.
Yeah. And with mum, see my mum, I remember I told you, positive, hopeful. She's like, nah, don't worry, you'll come home. These times, how do you tell your mum? No,
it's not gonna happen.
I don't think so. It's not looking good. Like,
does she understand the full extent of what you did?
Yeah, because obviously she ended up coming to court towards the latter stages of my trial.
But prior to that, you guys didn't really talk about it.
I'm not how do you break it? Like, it's a hard conversation to have. Even to this day, I don't think I've had that conversation to say, like, did you realize how serious it was? Or
so would you say that was the most serious case, your first case?
Yeah, that was my most serious. Yeah.
And it sounded like a very silly question to ask, but your second and third case, were they just like moving a bit? Wait. Was it moving a bit more sophisticated? That's why it wasn't that serious, because you learned the hard way.
Nah, it's just because, for example, if you've got knocked out before, the next time you're not that afraid because you know what to. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. So, for example, like if you're doing a high intensity workout, a HIIT workout, the first time it's like, oh, this is a bit mad. But then you're like, okay, I know what to expect. It's a bit soft.
And you've been inside, so you know what's up.
So for my mum, it was hard every time, don't get it twisted, but I think it was easier to take like as the times went on.
Do you feel like her positive mindset wasn't her true feeling inside? Like, because the reality is, as a parent, you want to show face and you want to be positive. And I think the natural instincts of a parent, and inshallah, like, you'll never have to find out that way. But I know when you feel like your child's done something wrong, you start reflecting everything, thinking, have I failed you?
Yeah.
Is it because I left your dad or your dad left me?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different intricate things that we beat ourselves up as human beings. And as parents, you think, I raised you. What did I do wrong? Has your mum ever said those words ever to you?
Okay. So my mum, like you said, positive. Yeah. So even when she used to come and see me on a visit or speak to me on the phone, imagine this. My dad cried on a visit. My mum's never cried on a visit.
But she went home and cried?
Yeah.
I watched things.
Yeah. So, like, we just did an episode on Life After Prison with my mum and another woman, Tracy. And my mum's telling me for the first time, because I ain't heard this before. Because we haven't had that conversation. It's a conversation that is just like...
It's unpacking more pain.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Rather not talk about it. You're home now, so we keep it moving. But so that was like, and even my mum, you could tell on the podcast, she didn't really open up. Do you get what I'm saying?
And that's why I remember when I reached out to you, I said, I want to unpack your mum a bit more.
Yeah, that's fine. I can do it on her behalf. Do you know what I'm saying? Because since then we've had more conversations about that.
That's good. Do you feel that episode has helped a segue for you guys to have more honest conversations?
100%, because that was the first time we've ever spoke about anything like that.
Wow.
First time. We've never spoke about what it's like in prison, how it was for her.
So how old were you when you went to prison?
First time 17.
That's a very long time.
Yeah.
For you guys not to have this.
Long time. Trust me, I'm 31 now. I'm only having this conversation
time is everything though. Maybe you needed to reach a point of like maturity.
Yeah,
and
the first time I said I love you to my mum, I was in prison. Do you get what I'm saying? So even to get to that emotional...
That growth.
Yeah, it took time as well. Do you get what I mean?
So when I said like the parents feel a level of guilt, has there ever been a sign where you felt like, "Raw, mum's kicking herself about this"? Or
yeah. Because my mum used to say things like, you know, I've done more for you than my parents did. Like, I would love if my parents did what I'm doing for you, for me, you know. And then like, I wish my mum was still here, kind of thing. So like, you like have to respect me and show me the love and the respect that I deserve, because like once I'm gone, kind of all them lectures. You know what I'm saying? But we used to tell my mum, listen, nothing's your fault, you know, like understand that
it's hard.
Nothing's your fault. Likewise with my dad as well. It's not your fault. Like, you can blame yourself if you want. That's up to you. Like, that's up to you. But the decisions we made and the path that we took, that was us. Maybe you could have helped a bit. Maybe, possibly, God knows.
Because I wonder, like, if both your parents were providing and you lived a nice, comfortable life, being amongst your peers, would you still have been a bit tempted to get them extra bit of kicks and
Possibly, possibly
extra bit of
because.
cash?
But you see, the thing with us lot, yeah, and this is the thing that I think the circle of friends that I had at the time growing up, we were okay in the sense that, bro, you don't need to be doing any of this. Go home, fam.
Okay.
Like,
you're
you're nice, bro.
You're blessed.
Go home,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Furthermore, let's go to your house so we can all eat,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. That's
Do you get what I'm saying? So, like, there was a certain amount of, I wouldn't say morals, because
you still had your
something in
your
it.
morals in place.
It was
but
something
it was a
in
different
it.
one.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah, I've heard it when they see like a kid that doesn't really belong where he should be. They like keep him out.
Yeah, if
like,
a kid was smart, bro, hit the library, bro, or go school, man.
just mind your
Get off the
business.
block
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever kind of thing.
Yeah. So when it comes to, so you said you're Ghanaian, right?
Yes.
You're second generation here or first generation born?
First born here, yeah.
Yeah,
first,
exactly. So was there a bit of culture shame? Like, did your mum feel embarrassed?
100%. I was on holiday. I was studying abroad, my first sentence.
Yeah.
That was the narrative.
Yeah.
Until it's in the newspaper and then the lie crumbles. So now, this is what my mum told me before the podcast, yeah? So earlier this year, my mum was like, listen, I used to get people walking up to me, yeah? And I can tell they want to say it. They're just like, oh, we saw your son in the paper.
It's hard. It's hard.
The embarrassment, the shame. But she's there like, so? That's what else can you say to it? So what? He's there. He's not the only, he's not the first kid.
But she's your mum, so she'll still go back home and beat herself up.
Yes,
about it.
but watch this then. So there was a woman that used to be, oh, I heard about your son. And oh, I heard about your other son, because my younger brother followed my footsteps. And then the same woman, her sons ended up in prison. And then she is feeling the type of way to speak to my mum. She's trying to avoid my mum's like, listen, you don't have to feel no type of way with me. If you need any help, shout me. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I know what it's like. She understands.
Rather than going, ha, in your face, she went, I get you, man.
Yeah.
Sis, you want a hug? I got you.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
But that's the way my mum's kind of showed me how to deal with people.
Did you ever bring drama to your doorstep?
Me personally, no. Only police.
That's drama.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, yes then. But not like madness to my house.
But is it because you understood how to move? Like, or you did
I'll
certain
be
things
real with you, yeah? It's a crazy situation because of like old affiliations, my house was quite known. So there was times when I'm thinking, we got to be on high alert because someone might try something, but alhamdulillah, none of that.
That's it, because I know like this generation especially, they'll come and kidnap your mum and do the most. They don't ramp these days.
No morals. Like there was times before, like if you had a disagreement with someone, yeah,
you know there's certain rules.
Yeah, and you see them with a mum, you're like,
when I see you alone,
yeah, kind of thing. You're like, you're lucky. Now they're beating your mum up as well. Like it's that bad. They're gonna beat your mum up as well.
There's something wrong with a generation, and there's so many like levels to why it is wrong. Whether it's young parents, whether it's young kids having kids, and there's so many different things on social media. There's levels.
That's a whole nother topic still.
Not 100%, and we can definitely go into it. Do you feel like you kind of stripped yourself away from your childhood and your real teenage years?
Ooh, I had a good life growing up. Don't get me wrong. I had everything I needed. I was a happy child. Do you know what I'm saying? My house, there was always love in the house. We was good. Like always food, always, you know what I mean? We were looked after, yeah? And we had a lot of love. Mum gave us a lot of love. So did dad, But I feel like when my parents split up, then I looked at life differently then.
Because she also prepared you. Your mum
prepared me. She teaching me about like GP appointments, how to book appointments, things that I'm telling you, these are the things that I was learning at 8, 9 growing up.
So we were forced to do, because our parents didn't speak English, to be like, I was a personal assistant from the age of 8.
I know them ones.
But that's different. That's just, I need you to do it because whatever. But then your mum's actually trying to enable you and empower you with bits of responsibility. But
like we said there's things that sometimes my mum will get a letter and be like, oh, what does this mean? Kind of thing, just to clear up her understanding of things. So So was it stripped away? No, I think it was, I had to be both. Like I could be a kid outside the house, I could be young, and then when I'm in the house or it's something to do with the family, I've got to have a different mindset.
But do you not think your kid's mindset was still doing things that adults should be doing? Or like, not adults, but you're doing stuff that isn't pure, like, do you know, like a pure childhood or teenager? Like,
100%. But at the same time, like, you have to, like, I'm taking my brother to school. I'm in primary school and I'm taking him to school and taking my sister to do you get what I'm saying? So I think that's just normal. I'm cooking food because mum's working till like 8 or 7 o'clock. We're coming home from school. I got to cook food because everyone's hungry. So
on that point, there's a lot of stats that state single parent households, basically they're very high stats with different things, but their children end up in care, their children end up in jail, rapists, molesters, aggressive, violent, whatever. Do you feel that is it fair to sort of say that's the case? Obviously you worked quite a bit in prison now and doing what you're doing. Do you feel like it's a bit of a harsh?
It's fair though. No, you know what? It's fair because let's look at it like this. Yeah, there's only at a certain point we didn't fear my mum's discipline. Do you get what I'm saying? So then we can push the boundaries to the point where Mum, I'm not even coming home tonight. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. From if you come home late, beats, like, and then after the beats are like, allow it, Mum. Do you get what I mean? So
you're big and strong.
Yeah. So yes, you can push the boundaries a bit more, and I feel like we hid a lot from my mum as well. We hid a lot. So
have you unhid some of it now?
No, that's long. I don't want her to know full detail. I think she'd be scared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
because who you were at home is a different
100%. Who we were in front of all our mums it's crazy because, you know, there was always them friends like, bruv, you're a wicked man, but all the mums like you, bruv.
Yeah. And it's because how you hold yourself.
100%, yeah.
It's like, yes, auntie.
Yeah.
Yes, auntie. Like,
but back to the statistic, I think it is true to a certain extent. However, it can't be the sole reason. Does that make sense? So it can be a contributing factor.
Yeah. So I get it. Like,
because my older brother was a good guy. He never committed a crime. Always worked. No problems. And
he was the eldest one. So
he's the oldest one.
He should have felt it at the hardest.
Do you get what I'm saying? If anyone, it could have been him. Likewise with my sister, never committed a crime.
But you and your bro were like far away from that line to even want to need to.
There you go.
I hear you.
So there was other factors. Maybe it's our own personal choices. Maybe our own friendship circles.
I think also the fact that our parents, when you're a single parent, you're surviving. You're trying to survive and provide for the kids.
That's your focus.
And you don't realize that actually by you being absent, they have more time on their hand as well. And there's no one to really look after them. So when you're dropping your brother to school because mum's busy doing work and trying to provide for you, and then you're at home by yourself for a minute, you can wander and do what you want.
I wonder a bit.
So it's kind of, but then it's also unfair on mum to feel that weight because it wasn't her, down to her to why she had to go through that.
What is she supposed to do?
Yeah. But
work
I think it's
and feed us,
when you hear those stats.
Be on benefits and be in the house.
That's it.
Like, that's options, innit? Yeah.
So back to your journey. What was the turning point? Okay,
glad you asked. So in 2016, I was doing what I was doing, yeah? Ones and twos, whatever.
What he said.
And so there was a vulnerable drug user.
Okay.
Yeah? This is the icing on the cake. So at this moment in time, so let me just start that again. So basically, I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not happy in my heart. I'm in a nice car, nice clothes, money in my pocket. I'm okay, innit? I'm doing all right, but I'm not happy. My soul is not happy. Yeah? And the climax or the icing on the cake, and it's something so simple. I was talking about it today and someone was like, what? That's it? I was like, so there was a drug user, vulnerable person, and they said to me, you know, I'm a human being. Like, I'm actually a human being, you know. I don't know what it was with them words, that moment, that just hit me, and I was like, raw. What are you actually doing, bro?
Because you realise you're just going through the motions about registering. Actually, once you give them that thing, they're now, because I know people who go, I won't, like how they might, like in the past, they might drug deal, but there's certain drugs they won't touch.
Yeah.
Because they're like, nah, because I know how that can mess up someone's life or
I've heard that
someone's
before.
family.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
So I get to the extent of you having someone look you dead straight in the face and drop those to you.
And I'm being real with you, you have to switch off emotion if you want to be in that. You got to be cold. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think I was at a point where the coldness is a myth. Like if I go fully cold, there's not like a point of no return, but it's like where is it gonna lead? Yeah, exactly. When's it gonna stop? So from that, I was like, this is dead. I can't do this. But then you still got caught. Yeah. So yeah. So watch this. So no. Watch this. Snap. I cut the things off. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Cut the things off, and it's mad. So imagine this. So this has happened, and before this has happened, a mate of mine's gone to prison. And don't worry, when you come out, I'll be here to help you get back on your feet, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? So months later, he's come out now. He's like, bro, I'm ready to hit the roads again. I'm like, brother. Like, there's other phones there. Take the phones.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Nah, I want to start my own thing. Help me, man. See me, I've got a thing about me, yeah? Even then, if I give you my word, I've got to stick to it. Do you get what I'm saying? That's just how I am. It's mad. So
has this changed a bit? Has the T's and C's changed a
bit? Of course, to what it is I'm agreeing to. Cool. Do you know what I'm saying? Without a doubt. But I'm talking in that time now.
You're a man of your words.
Yeah, if I've said something, well, I'm going to deliver on it, yeah? So anyway, we started doing whatever. And then it's mad because I'm like, bro, I don't do this no more. But like now it's up and right, deal with it. So one day he's like, bro, if I can't do what I need to do, you need to go up there and do whatever. Reluctantly as well. And then that's when it got on tops, because now there's a whole operation going on, not knowing that I'm starting this stuff in the middle of an operation. That's got nothing to do with me, but now I'm highlighted as part of an operation. Do you get what I'm saying? So then I've left what I'm doing, and now they've come back to arrest me.
So you got implicated for that one thing?
Yeah, it's what it is, isn't it? But yeah, so I'm rambling on, but just giving you some context, yeah? So at that moment in time, I get arrested, and now there's a pending case. But now I've begun to change my life. I've become a qualified personal trainer.
You started focusing. You genuinely wanted to just
leave the lifestyle. Behind. There's a certain points where, as friends, we can't even go out to eat without there being certain things with us.
Yeah, you got to worry.
I'm like, is this how you man trying? I can't live like this because ain't no one trying to do nothing to me. So I don't understand. Yeah. Like what we doing, innit? So I'm like, you man, so I'm gonna keep it moving and do my own thing. So fast forward 6 months now from that agreement, and I made a promise to God. I made a promise to God. I said, God, I'm gonna change my life. I'm done with this.
Is this where Islam came in?
Well, I was a Muslim already.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm already a Muslim.
So when did you revert to Islam?
I reverted in 2014.
Was it in prison? Outside?
No, sorry, 2013. Before the second time I went to prison.
Before?
Yeah.
And where did you learn about Islam?
I learned about it in prison. So the first sentence.
You were that guy.
No, but there's a difference because
but it's still
I learned about Islam in prison, and it was actually the adhan that got me. Like, right, hearing this is different. Not normal. It's a different. This is from God.
So when did God become that important for you to go? Do you know what? Nah, okay. Like there must have been. Was it from that moment of that guy?
No, it's from the moment when I got shot.
Okay.
So I got shot 6 months after I've made this pledge that I'm going to change my life. I'm leaving the roads. I'm done with this stuff. 6 months later, I got shot. But I can't explain it. It's like I should have died at that. I should have died when I got shot. Like the doctors, there was waves upon waves of doctors and junior doctors coming to look at me like, you're lucky to be alive. Oh my God, you're the guy that got. Where did you get shot? So I got shot in my side, like in my ribs, in between my ribs. But like that's a death shot because it's literally where the heart is. Yeah. But this is the mad thing now. The bullet didn't go like straight through my side and continued. If it did, it would have hit my heart and I'm gone. Yeah. But it literally hit me and went down. So it's weird. It went in my side and now it's literally above my pelvic bone, and the bullet's still there, like today.
Don't
still,
lie.
Yeah, it's still lodged.
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
You play with
Especially
it?
when it goes cold. You know, it just
That's mad. Sorry, I know it's not funny.
it's like an internal tickle.
That's
Like I got a
mad.
scratch like when it gets cold.
So it must be peak for you to go for any systems.
No, I've got like an NHS like disclosure thing that says I've got a bullet in me. So when I go through,
But you have to prepare for it every single time you go for any sort of like.
the worst is like a X-ray or MRI or something like that.
They're like,
That's when
we found an interesting thing inside you.
It's painful, but like they know that already.
Okay.
But like it's at airports and that. So that was the moment. Once I got shot, and it's like, you're lucky to be alive. This is a test for you, because now, are you gonna retaliate? Are you gonna go back on your word, your promise that you're gonna stay off the roads? So at that time, and my boys at the time will vouch, there was like a war council. And I've turned up to this war council like, listen, bro, I don't want no revenge on my behalf, you know. Furthermore, I forgive the guy that shot me. I'm letting you lot know now. I
Is this
forgive
for
him.
the sake of Allah?
Not even for the sake of Allah. I'll be real with you. It's for the sake of you, man, and
This is
the
gonna
whole
continue
thing.
forever.
Yeah, what's the point?
Where does it stop?
My point exactly. I
Was
don't want none
there
of
anyone that was like, no, man?
it. Yeah, loads of man.
That was still gonna. Was anyone willing to still go ahead with it, regardless of how you felt?
Yeah, they were. But see, me saying I don't want no drama, I don't want no part of it, I forgive him. That takes the fuel out the fire. If that makes sense. It's like, well, if man don't care,
you're not hyping the
yeah,
situation.
if man don't care, why should we? Cool, great. Don't do nothing on my behalf. So, and then that's when I was like, yeah, you're lucky to be alive. You need to be. There's a reason you're meant to be here, and there's a reason you've been.
What that is.
Yeah, you got to make. If I died at that minute in time, it would be peak for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, do as much good as you can now. Try and do your best. So that's what I try to do now.
How does mum feel now that you behave?
Mum's happy. You know, mum can see it because my mum, you know, when I've got out of the first 2 times, she called me like, "You all right? Did you get in all right? You're at home? Okay. You okay? Yeah? Okay, cool." Every day without fail, "You home?" "Oh, no, I'm out, mum."
She's constantly anxious about you.
Anxious,
worried.
nervous. Now she don't even call me for days.
Yeah, because she knows
She
you're
knows
good.
I'm good, yeah.
So obviously, like making a decision to leave
Yeah.
and to stop your ways, and does that also come with like, I gotta let go of certain friends?
Yes.
And how did that go down?
It's weird because when I see them or bump into them, it's still love, but it's not the same. Do you get what I mean? I'm like, they see me as like, you're a civilian, innit?
Yeah.
Bruv, we weren't in the army about I'm a civilian, but like,
But that's how it runs.
yeah, that's how it runs.
the world is right
I'm
now.
a civilian, innit? So it's like, they will mention a couple things to me like, "Oh, did you hear about so and so, or did you hear this and that?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't even know about Wagwan." But
Because you're so disconnected.
so
from
disconnected. But I'm like, I hope you man are good. And it was still cool, which is nice. But it's like almost strangers.
But do you ever feel like you want to chat to them and just be like, bro?
I talk to them all the time. I'm
As
that
in-
guy.
as in,
I'm that guy. Like, listen,
preach.
what are you man on?
Yeah.
Like, when you're ready, shout me. We'll get to work. Like, I've got construction business, so we do like renovations, maintenance, all of that. We've got that there. You know, we've got X Conversation. We work with young people. We put on programs and workshops. We do the podcast. You know,
Put your hands full in the best way.
listen, like there's options in it, and what smacks it is I work with another charity called Social Arc. There's loads of opportunities through, like, there's loads of organisations out there that can help people come off the roads or give people.
Do you feel the narratives change when it comes to that? Because obviously, when you have a criminal record, it's harder to have jobs. I know you just literally released something today about
finding
employment,
work. Yeah.
which is
You're on
interesting.
point, innit?
Listen, I got
Yeah,
you.
I love that. Yeah,
I told you, I'm not chatting nonsense. I follow what you're doing. I
100%.
respect what you're trying to do.
I
Like,
appreciate
a
that.
lot of people are like, well, I might as well just give in. This is the mindset. Like, I can't change the mindset. Then you have big people like Tricky and other guys who are changing the narrative. And then
big up
some.
Tricky. See, there's one thing that Tricky said before, yeah? I can't remember what, I think it was on him and Lippy's thing.
Yeah, for the culture.
Yes. There was one bit where he's like, bruv, he was in the car and he said, "You man, let me out the car." Big things there. Because why? Because he knows it's long.
Yeah.
I'd rather get out the car now because, you know, my heart's not fully in it. That's cool. He got out the car, safe. That's not a shameful thing, you know?
No.
Because it's better you do that than when it's really peak, you're either getting a long sentence or you're now a snitch and your whole family's got to move and whatever. It's going to change your life. So why not walk away? So what I tried to say.
So was that him describing the moment? Or him actually being in, like, as in when you said, was that him on For the Culture talking about it?
He was on he was talking about it, saying, look, he said to the man them in the car, let me out.
Yeah,
like things was going in and he was like, bruv, you know what, let me out. Then they dropped him off and carried on. But like, so that's what I tried to say to the man them or young people, like, look, we can map out the path you want to go down, but understand if you go down this path, this is what it can lead to. Now, coming out, as a man coming out, and you really want to work, you're not going to get the jobs you think you are or that you think you deserve, because people are going to judge you by that criminal record. 100%. You're going to get looked at a certain way, treated a certain way, and navigating's harder.
But do you feel like the stigma's changed a bit in the sense of, like, I wanted to like really touch on things like how has it affected you also getting into relationships?
Great question.
But before that, karma, do you worry about that? I know, you know, you believe in God and you believe like karma's not a thing, but as in as far as I step
with faith everywhere I go.
But
like,
do you ever have any worries?
Yeah, of course. I'll be real with you, yeah? There's certain places that I go or when I move, high alert.
To this day,
high alert. But I don't I've got a good way of concealing it now. So if I'm out with my wife or I'm out with my parents or family members or younger like kids, like my god kids or my nieces and nephews, high alert.
Do you ever think that's going to die down?
So the other day I went for a coffee with my friend, and he's like, bruv, you're not moving on point. Sit with your back against the wall, let's move. He's like, don't drop your guard. I was like, bro, we're different people now. He's like, nah.
Because there's someone else who isn't.
That's what I'm saying, exactly that. And he's like, bro, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, because I actually, and it sounds mean, and some people probably have a lot to say about it, but I got to know someone years ago, and they had a big record on them, number record, and they were so high, but they're a changed person. And they were honest. Initially I said, do you worry about your karma? He's like, no, I'm good. And then later on he went, Hebz, you know what? There is karma. And I know there's someone who's waiting. There's at least one person I can tell you, even though it's been 10 years plus, they're waiting for me to slip. And this person lives
on point.
Very, very on point. Like, parks the car in a particular way. Does this in a particular way.
I'm past that stage.
But this person's a grown person, and they're so literally, you cannot even put these two people together. Who he was back then
and who he is now, and who he is today. Things.
I would never have guessed that this person.
Shall I tell you what now? See me, I don't worry in that sense. I would be a random. I wouldn't be someone that they plan for.
In his case, it was a plan.
Yeah, no one will plan for me. I don't. I ain't done anything. See me, I was a person that I'd rather keep a relationship good. So personally, there's no one I've done wrong for them to be like, I want this guy. Even when I got shot as a rant, the guy didn't know who I was. He even asked me, are you from this area? Because he didn't even know who I was. Do you get what I'm saying? So personally, I don't fear that, but it's just certain locations that I'm in, it can be that at any point. Do you get what I mean?
I hear you. But so the reason why I feel like people will judge me is that I turned around and said to him, I'm really sorry, I have a son.
That's fair enough.
And I said, I have to worry about his back, and I never want to walk out with you and worry that someone's just found that moment. And now, because I'm your wife and that's my child with you, and maybe even more children, everyone's implicated. So we live in a time where no one really cares.
No one really cares. It's true. And it's only recent that some people are like, you know, my nieces and nephews, their parents are happy for me to take them out. Yeah. Whereas before it'd be like, no.
Yeah, because the reality is,
like,
they don't really know your story.
Yeah, they're like, I'm just going park. No. I'm like, right, cool.
But sometimes all it takes is for you to go park and next person rolls up.
True. That's true.
Past and goes, wait, is that so-and-so?
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, it's hard to explain so it's hard to explain, like, that's not gonna happen, man. Like, I'm not gonna go somewhere where do you get what I mean? But you can't say that to a parent because that's their child. So I'm like, cool, fair enough. Big risk. But now it's fine. Like, go on. Yeah. Do you get what I mean?
So has it been hard for you to try to gain people's trust, or even though, like, to an extent, you know you've done your time, you know you're a changed person, but you're still having to prove yourself to people?
Yes, to a certain extent. I feel like in any relationship that I build or that I have, I ain't done anything for you to think any way, like the other way of me, or I do my best to stick to my morals and my principles so that you can see, okay, this is a guy of morals, this is a guy of principles. And for example, I've even had things where I'm like, I'm sorry, I've got prior engagement. I've made a promise, a commitment to that person. Even though I'd like to do this, if I can't, I've got this to do. And they respect it.
You try and be as honest as possible.
They respect it.
Yeah,
do you get what I mean? And at the same time, I'm like, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't feel comfortable doing that because I feel like that could be a gateway for me to get into other things.
Yeah.
And I'm not on it.
Because you mentioned how you're still going through your journey.
Yeah,
like you're not at a point now where you feel like you're untouchable, like you can't be tempted anymore.
No, I can't be tempted. Facts.
So what is it when you say you're not
still,
quite there?
Yeah, because when I say I'm not quite there yet, I mean in the sense that, and this is gonna sound mad, yeah, but I think hopefully someone can relate to this, yeah.
No doubt.
I ain't gonna buy myself a nice car. I don't have a nice car because I know I can. Don't get it twisted, I can. But I know if I have a nice car and I'm rolling again, I'm afraid that's gonna tempt me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you know what your weakness is, and you know every single person has a weakness.
Facts.
And when you're fighting with that weakness, like why are you putting yourself even near it until you reach that level of invincibility when it comes to these temptations? Like
I said to my boy, if there was, say for example, there was a little vote. This is a vote, yeah. There's £1 million in there, bro. All you got to do is break in and take the. I'm not on it, bro. Nah, you do it and enjoy it. I'm not on it. Like for crime or anything like that. Khalas, no way. But it's just certain things like I wear a Casio.
Yeah, old school, man.
Yeah, that I can go and get a nice kettle, but I don't want it.
That's good.
Because I feel like, okay, I've got the nice watch, then what's next?
Yeah.
And then is that going to tempt me to do other things?
But that's the truth. That's the truth. Every time we do something, whatever it is, whether it's buying something, like going to the gym, fixating on certain things, we naturally, once we achieve another thing, like one sprint, we're going to go to the next sprint and next sprint. Yeah. And sometimes, like even with losing weight, I reached a point where I became like body dysmorphia.
Obsessed. Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's like by default as humans, the moderation isn't always there.
100%.
So that's that, and I respect it because you're mindful of it, and you're going as simple as it's just a watch. You know what it'll unlock.
Yeah. So what's this? So in the Quran, there's ayats that say, for example, Allah will say, "Do not even come close to fornication." Like, do not even come close to it.
Yeah.
So that's basically saying, stay far away. So for if that's for fornication, I've got to apply the same kind of principle to other things that are
else.
Yeah.
Do
you get what I mean? So
100%.
for example, stay away from alcohol. If you know alcohol is your weakness, don't even put yourself in a situation where there's alcohol around you.
Yeah.
Do you get? I had an old boss. He was a recovering alcoholic. No alcohol in the premises at all.
Yeah. No after work drinks.
Nothing.
Nah.
I'm not on it.
As much as you want
if he's going out, he's going to a place where they don't serve alcohol. For say like it's a team.
Muslim restaurant.
Basically that. No, so, and I respect that because then you're keeping that boundary further.
I was going to say he knows his boundaries.
Exactly.
That's important.
But for me, I feel like sticking with Islam's a big factor in me, like staying on the straight and narrow.
How much has faith impacted?
Massively, and the sense that I was given a chance to rectify my wrongs, to do as much good as possible. So I do my best not to miss a prayer. I'm not going to say I pray 5 times a day, which I do, but I'm not.
Listen, when I pulled up and I saw you outside praying.
Yeah, I don't play. When it's prayer time.
You remind me of my husband, because my husband would be like, he'll be in the airport.
Yeah.
And I'm like, brethren, it's peak. You're in luggage claim.
I don't care.
And you're here praying. They're going to be like, astaghfirullah, jihad.
I don't, yeah.
Like,
I'm the same. I pull up on street corner.
Yeah, wherever you need to.
If it's time. Because if I don't pray, it's like my soul's itching. I'm not comfortable. That's why
that you found.
That's why I had to pray before this, because I'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, you'd be clock watching 100%, and I respect that, and I think that's something I've learned. Like even with my husband, when it comes to like making plans, he's like, wait, Dhuhr and Asr between that time, can we move it? And like even watching a movie, he'd be like, and I'm just cool. And the thing is, I want that. So I can't fight it.
I heard that.
So I'm just like, so just to let you know, I already thought about the prayer times. One step ahead, what? Say.
That's good.
But that's how you're meant to be, because then it's showing the growth within
100%. I love that. I like that. That's
Speaking of marriage.
Yes.
You're a married man.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
However, leading up to that point, how much has your past hindered the concepts or you settling down?
My wife nearly ran away from me.
All right, excellent. That's a great start.
So, So there was, I think she overheard a conversation I was having, yeah? And this is just me like thinking, I'm not going to hide anything from you. So this is before we got married, you know? So she overheard a conversation. And after she asked me, you been to prison before?
Oh, so you haven't disclosed it to her?
Nah, not at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my reason for that was, I just thought, just get to know me first. And then make a judgment on that rather than, and I've had it in the past where I've spoke about my record or I've been, and it's like, yeah, sorry,
Shut
mate,
down.
nice to know you.
Yeah.
Off you go. I can't blame, I don't blame
I was going to
no
say,
one.
how do you feel about them? Do you
I don't feel no type of way because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, and this is what and it's the same thing for jobs. Who are you going to pick? The person with a record, you got two people qualified.
equally good.
Equally
yeah.
qualified, but one's got a record. Who are you picking? It's
Unless
fine.
you've had a record before, you've seen
It's
someone have a
fine.
record, then you'll be like, let me give the underdog a
Possibly.
Yeah,
But
at
at the
best.
same time, I can't fault the person
the
if they
reality
don't
that we
pick me.
live
It's
in.
cool, innit? So
But
with my wife,
how has it? Yeah, go on. Let's talk about.
yeah.
your
So
wife
with
first.
my wife and explaining it to her,
Mhm.
I didn't tell her it was 3 times.
Let's
Nah. Do you get what I'm saying?
just work with the one first.
Yeah.
and see how
Let's
she
keep it
reacts.
on one.
Yeah,
And she nearly ran away.
yeah. After the one.
Yeah, she nearly ran away. Do you know what I'm saying? She nearly ran away, and alhamdulillah, she didn't. But
Have you experienced it where like it's just when people find out, especially 'cause obviously when as a Muslim man, I'm assuming you just want a Muslim woman,
Yeah.
and a practicing one,
yeah,
and it's hard because like you can be practicing as any faith, but then also have your own stereotypes, your own cultural understanding of life,
yeah,
and you forget that actually you can be a changed person. And
yeah.
so when even though you're not meant to judge, when you find out someone has a record or has a past, whether it's, I used to hit my wife, but I'm a changed woman, I don't know, whatever it is that you did, we have this alert and a flag that kind of goes, run away.
Yeah.
So it's hard because like even if you are a good person and you genuinely want to forgive and understand what forgiveness is and you preach all that, when it comes to applying it to yourself and now trying to accept someone who's had a record, unfortunately even the best of people fall short of like placing that executive decision that actually I can't get to know you no more just because of your past.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a sad thing to say, yeah. But like at its conversation, we'll work with anyone unless you got 2 offences, and that's sexual offence or arson, because there ain't no insurer that's gonna insure anyone with arson.
Really?
No one, no insurer.
Even if you're 13,
You're never getting no. There's no
book.
insurance. It's peak. I'm sorry. That's because we can't actively help you get into work, because once you disclose the arson, there's no company going to take you.
And obviously sex offenders list.
Yes, and that comes with other complications. And we work a lot with young kids, and you know what I'm saying. So that's a whole nother.
Do they have their own help?
Yes, there's many organisations out there that supports.
But for you, it's
But
just
for us,
it's not
it's
going to
just
be practical.
For me to even get business insurance.
You couldn't.
Oh my gosh, to even get a bank account, we're struggling now to get a bank account. Like even now, we've got grants pending, nearly 6 figures. Yeah, of grants pending.
But you can't even get a bank for it.
So many banks shut us down because me and my partners, we've all got records. So and it's like we passed the first checks. Yeah, all good. All right, cool. Sign here. 2 weeks later, you get a call. Unfortunately, and I'll try to ask why. Some say, look, your record's a bit mad. We can't take a risk on it. Some say it's not viable for our business that we're looking for. I'm like, hold on a second. It's not viable. We've got 6 figures coming into your account. That's money you lot. You know how the banks work. That's money you lot can play with.
Yeah, literally.
Do you know what I'm saying? So like, it hinders you. And then for me to turn around to someone who's also an offender, or an ex-offender, should I say, and say, we can't work with you.
You're just an extra block. Yeah. Basically.
But at the same time, that's a whole another thing on itself. When it comes to other people where it's like, okay, what did you do? And they tell you, okay, mate, maybe it's murder, maybe it's manslaughter, maybe it's GBH with intent, or it's robbery. It's cool. That's fine. What are you on now? Where do you want to go? We'll help you get there.
Yeah.
And maybe you can take you to a certain extent and then pass you on to some other one that can take you that's fine.
Yeah,
but we're all about progression, where you're going to go forward. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's
and I feel that's where my wife gave me a chance. She was like, okay, well, your character's cool.
And you're doing.
Yeah, and
your
you're
actions
trying.
are
Exactly,
showing.
exactly.
That's incredible.
But,
and
yeah.
she's your person, so that kind of was
Yeah.
God's timing.
That's my G.
She needed to almost run away.
Yeah.
That's just part of the plan, just
Yeah,
to give you a bit of anxiety and stress.
That was stressful for me, man.
Yeah.
Stressful time, but alhamdulillah.
Do you have any regrets?
You know what? Before I used to say I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that, I would have changed this. If I could go back in time, I would invent Google. You know what I'm saying?
I would have done Amazon straight up.
I would have done Google. I don't know why. All of that. But no. Now it's no, because I've had to get to where I'm at now, to get to the person I am now, I had to go through these experiences.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be the person I am now or where I am now. And I wouldn't have learned how to be happy.
Yeah.
Someone asked me today, what's your ambition or your goal? To be happy. What else?
Yeah, and how you chase that happiness.
Yeah.
I know. It fits with your moral compass.
I know multimillionaires
who aren't happy.
They ain't happy.
Yeah.
A man told me a story about he was a chauffeur for a rich guy out in, I think it's Qatar or Dubai. Yeah. And they drove past a construction site and there was construction workers who were roasting onions. Yeah. This multimillionaire has a stomach condition that he can't eat solid food. He said to his driver, I would exchange my whole entire wealth
just
to be able to eat that onion.
There's a lot of rich people who are sad, and there's a lot of rich people who've done bad mistakes or bad decisions that they're alone and rich as well. And they try and feel that richness.
Yeah, with other things.
And they realise actually when it all comes down to it, they just want someone to love them and for them to be looked after. Because I know people who've gotten old now and their children are nowhere to be seen. Wow. And it's because of bad decisions. And all they would love to have is just a companion of their children. Because you're going to end up in a care home at this point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's peak, and sometimes finding that true happiness within, regardless of your status, regardless of your circumstances, that's pure happiness. Yeah. That can't be shaken.
Listen, I had to find
peace even.
Yeah, I had to find that inner peace and contentment, even in a prison cell.
How was your mental well-being throughout the whole process?
Ooh. So when I got shot, I was going through post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And I even remember I just wanted a holiday. And it got to a point where I saw a doctor and he prescribed me a holiday. And I was like, I told you, I knew it. That's all I needed.
Wait, does that come with a pay ticket?
You know what I'm saying? Nah, I don't. But I wish it did.
He's like, here you go.
He's like, listen, you need 2 weeks,
yeah,
even 3. Go on a holiday. You need a break. You're highly stressed. Go and get a break. And it got to a point where it's like, okay, what are your challenges? Let's face them. Do you know what I'm saying? I went through a depression where I didn't want to get out of my bed. What am I getting out of my bed for?
What helped you?
The Quran.
Yeah.
Prison.
Yeah.
I'll be real. Prison helped me because, see, the thing that it's going to be strange. The third sentence helped me because I was depressed. I had to recover from a gunshot wound because my strength wasn't what it used to be. And I can't get to the size I was before the gunshot now. Even now, I can't get there. It's weird.
Yeah.
So being in prison helped me with, I could read the Quran on a daily basis. Yeah, time. I could be by myself. I could analyze myself. I was able to hit the gym, focused. My eating improved, my outlook improved. And I was content. Even though I was in a prison cell, with just a TV, a toilet, and few possessions, I was happy.
Yeah.
It's weird. I can't, I was content.
But it's because you found that peace.
Yeah.
You understood what peace
looks
okay.
Like. I was okay with myself, who I was.
Otherwise you go insane.
100%.
You end up in a madness.
A lot of people, and that's the thing now. A lot of people, and this is what I try to explain to, organizations and the young people I come in contact with, is that there's a lot of young people out here that are going through they're traumatized. They don't understand that they're angry, they're upset, they're hurting, but they don't get that. They're depressed.
Yeah.
but they don't know how to like.
They can't identify it to even address it, and therefore it's a
Exactly.
vicious cycle. And I think the younger generation are having it really bad. I really want to touch on a lot of things, but we're running out of time.
Okay, sorry,
What
I'm a
I'd-
bit of a waffler as
but
well.
you know what? This is a conversation that just needed to happen. However, it
appreciate it.
unpacked the order it came out on. It's all good. I can have a structure, but then sometimes we just got to allow things to just run how they run. Inshallah, one day you're going to be a parent.
Inshallah.
What would you do different? Or how? Like, do you have fears
Ooh.
of raising young boys, especially?
Yeah, because I'm thinking now. This is. Am I gonna disclose my whole life to them, or am I gonna hide it from them? I don't know. Yeah. But what I do know is I ain't gonna lie to them. So
How much you reveal?
I'm gonna keep it like 100 with them,
Yeah.
regardless. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for example, if my child asks me, like if they ask me, I don't know, something serious, and I'm like, I could tell a lie and keep their happiness, or I might shatter a bit of dreams, but like I kept it real.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't know. I want my kids to be able to say, you know what, my dad told me what it is. So like, if I raise my kids, for example, my thing is, look, your decision is going to be the final one. So it's this or it's that. Like in Surah to Luqman,
Yeah.
he says to his son, look, you can be all good with me. Basically, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
all
it's
good
fine.
with me in front of me, no problems. But know when I'm not here, Allah's there watching you.
Ultimately, that's it. Yeah.
So whatever you do, it's down to you what you do. God's watching you in it. So if you do the right thing or the wrong thing, at the end of the day, it's your choice. However, you're lucky that your dad can highlight certain pathways for you. So
Because I think, like, because you've had your experiences.
yeah,
it can either go two ways. Either it can be like boys will be boys,
yeah,
and you allow them to roam and learn and get their own marks. Like, not as in something deep, but I think I've heard a lot of like some of the mandem that I got to know, even as full adults, reformed lawyers, whatever, like good men. They're like, it was just kind of part of the package of growing up. We just had to we either got mugged or we mugged someone, or like it's just part of growing up in London, and that's made me go, I don't want to raise my son here. And it's like we live in a time where kids aren't rampant.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I want to raise him in the UK? Do I want to move somewhere else?
Yeah, I see. I want to leave.
Yeah.
I've got a certain time limit I give myself
Before
and my
you-
wife.
Yeah.
And that was part of the conversation before getting married as
That's
well.
exactly with me.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Are you trying
Yeah.
to stay here? No.
Especially when you know how cold it can get.
But at the same time, I don't want to, my kids ain't going to be like,
Completely blinded by the
yeah, I'm not
realities
going to
of
shadow
life.
them. I'm not going to there's that story about Buddha that basically he grew up in a palace and he didn't even see a flower dying.
Yeah, no.
They would remove that.
You have
So
to see.
like,
You
get what I'm
can't be in the
saying?
bubble because that bubble
Yes,
will get burst when you have to.
precisely.
If you have to move back to London, if you have to do anything, then they have
You're
to
going
now
to know
see.
about real life.
100%. I remember
You're
when
gonna know-
I went to
yeah.
a private Islamic school. So
Okay.
quickly, mum was like, "Okay, you're going to." I went there from year 1 to year 11,
Wow.
full time.
Okay.
And when it came to to sixth form, I'm like, "Nah, mum, I need to be in a normal environment
Mhm.
because these are rich kids. I'm not a rich kid.
I hear you.
They're gonna have their Emiratis
Yeah,
who,
okay.
they're princesses who are gonna go live and travel into a different continent and study there for a bit. I said, I gotta go back to ends.
Yeah.
I need to integrate with regular dons because I'm not gonna walk here naively and stupidly. And then I'm luckily I've always kind of been mandem in a
Okay.
weird way, cousins, brother,
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
So I was able to be exposed a little bit even when I was in this private school.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people, if you put them in a bubble, they're so vulnerable and naive because they just think everyone's great. And everyone does have greatness in them, but unfortunately isn't always the case. So my next question is kind of a wrap up one. It's a bit controversial, and this is the part where I probably get grilled.
Okay.
You're in a situation, God forbid, of your children. This is hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
Your son's on a madness,
Yeah.
and bear in mind you've done everything to help this kid before, and now it's at a point where he's on a madness.
Yeah.
If he doesn't turn himself in, he's probably going to be dead tomorrow. Would you snitch?
If he doesn't turn himself in.
Like, as in basically the reality is if he starts walking out, someone's going to find him. He's on a madness, so i.e. the opposed side.
Raw. Good question. Yeah. And no, never.
Never snitch.
Nope.
The code never changes.
Listen, I could even, no.
If it saves your son from dying.
There's another option.
Because you've been to...
There's another option.
Send him back home.
Yeah, we're gone. Not back home though, we're gone.
Have you ever got threatened be sent back home?
Yeah, but my mum loves us too much for that.
But did you ever say, I'll send you back home?
Yeah, you'll go home, we'll leave you there. No, you're
Was
not
there a
leaving
friend that
nothing.
went back home that she referred to?
There's cousins that have been back. and it's sad. It's sad because they're calling you like, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like, what can I do?
Some people needed it. I
Some
know
people-
guys who've done it and they're like, do you know what? It's the best thing.
Yeah. I know, like
I needed to like be
some
away
people
from the
needed it.
mandem because
But
I couldn't.
I feel like when it comes to your own child, it's like, you know, there was a young woman who her mum handed her in at the riots, like, handed her in, like, and she got a prison sentence. And people commended her for that. People didn't.
Yeah, it's mixed.
Me personally, with my child, I feel like, and it's
So I feel like, so I'll tell you my view, right?
Yeah.
And some people won't agree with me. I feel like when you don't do what's right, you're almost enabling your child. So the first time they do something stupid, you're like, all right, cool, I got you. Like, you're going to learn from this. They do another thing stupid, cool. But when it reaches a point where they don't really care about themselves, they don't respect themselves, they don't respect you, they don't fear God. I reach a point where I'm just like, do you know what? I've done everything within my means to try and protect you, but you're still doing a madness.
So if you...
So what's I going to say? I feel like every single time now he's seen it as, subconsciously, I'm enabling him. Because mum's got me in it. So I'm going to push my luck. I'm going to put myself in an uncomfortable situation that I shouldn't be in. So then I've reached a point where I call myself snitch 9 when it comes, not in general in life. I don't need to do 9 because I'm not in a situation. But, and God forbid, I never need to find out. Like, I'm not even trying to wish this on anyone. Yeah. But I feel like I would rather have my son in prison than some next idiot, because for the sake of another guy, to go and kill him because of something that was crazy.
Okay.
So for me, you've experienced prison and it's given you growth.
I couldn't send my... Yeah, but that's different. Like watch this now. If that... Because the situation you're describing is like your son's going away for life.
I don't know.
But that's the situation.
No, because he might have. I don't know. Let's just say, I don't even want to talk about. I don't want to bring it into existence.
It's hypothetical.
But let's just say there's like someone who could have kidnapped someone, or they could have
taken something that's worth a lot of money,
and then the other person's going, "No, he's dead," because the ego comes in. Do you know what I mean? So for me, if I know there's major repercussions on the streets, but there's less repercussions elsewhere.
But then see, the thing with prison is those repercussions can find you in there too.
That's true.
Yeah, and you see,
I've watched my fair share of movies,
and
they're real.
And in there, it's real. There's moments where it gets really real.
100%.
Yeah.
But then also, you've done this to yourself.
Yes,
100%.
So you have to deal with it.
I've tried to save you.
Yeah. So it's a catch-22. It's a real catch-22 there. But I can't. If I'm not able to do that on my enemy or someone that's done something to me, I can't. How can I do that to my son?
But then, let's say now you go, okay, I'm not going to send him back home, but I'm going to take him and move. You're now enabling him even further.
No.
You're now, because why are you assuming he's a changed person?
No, I'm not assuming that. I'm going to make his circumstances different. So, for example, instead of us flying out and then we're going to live in Dubai, all happy, nice life.
We're going to Yemen.
I'm dropping you off in the village, bro. I'm dropping you in the village with a savage uncle. Where you every day you're going hitting the farm, G. You need to get the cutlass out. There ain't no lawnmower. You're getting. But then
you could have done that sooner.
Of course.
From when the first, of course, you could have. Time. I'm not talking about.
But I mean, like, this is a moment where you've done everything you can. Do you get what I'm saying?
Literally, I'm saying like you've done everything.
He probably would have been back home before
whatever.
that. He would have been back home before that in the village.
That's a great answer.
Honestly, we way before that got there. Oh, you're not learning.
Yeah.
Safe family trip. We're going Ghana.
Yeah, I think as a mum, I don't approve of people who enable and hide their kids' crimes, because I feel like it's only going to get worse.
No, but there's a difference.
It won't stop.
Yeah.
But then I also fear I love my son enough that I fear about his life. And yes, I will probably cry my child, like your mum said, my child is alone away from me and I can't get to you. I can't hug you. I can't tell you it's going to be okay. That's but I would rather not bury you. And that's how I see it. As I birthed you, I've raised you, I've held you. Yeah. I will not bury you. So that's my mindset, and that's where it comes from. And it's not black and white.
It's
and
not
I get
exactly.
That.
There's a grey area, or like they say. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, fully understand. But, and this is the but that I have to stick with. So watch this now. Say for example, my kid's done something wrong to another kid, and I find out, bruv, we're going to that yard.
100.
Say you're sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to embarrass you.
Yeah.
if that ain't taught you
You
something,
nip it in the bud straight.
yeah,
straight,
if that
straight,
ain't taught you
straight.
something, because there's
I do that with my
principles.
son now.
If you've done something wrong, correct your wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or be man enough to take responsibility for what comes. Yeah. But for example, he's caught a case and he needs to go jail. You're going jail, bruv. What? Dad's gonna save you. Did I
Okay.
tell you go and do that? Did you come to me and tell me you're gonna do what you're doing?
Yeah.
And now you want me to save? No.
I think you're big.
No, you're gonna deal with this,
Yeah.
but understand you're gonna get through it though.
Yeah. You're still supporting him. It's
Yeah,
not as if you're wiping.
Yeah, no. You're gonna get.
Nah, you're still a parent.
Yep, you're gonna do your sentence, bro, and you're gonna ride it.
100%.
The only thing, and this is hypothetical, we might have to cut. Do you get what I'm saying? But that's a hypothetical that I'm not trying to see. But I mean, prior to that, if you ain't learned from that prison sentence and you come out and then now you're not.
Even more
Oh, is it safe? Family holiday, man. I might even trick you and stop at Dubai.
Yeah.
Like we might stay in Dubai for a week, so you think, oh, it's calm. Oh yeah, we're gonna go Ghana for a week. You ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And you're not going Ghana where it's the White Palace, like it's night. You're going to the bush, the village.
I hear you. And like honestly, as a parent, you don't disconnect. You don't ever stop loving your child, regardless of what they do. Like regardless of life decisions. Like when I say these things, I don't say it like I'm not saying it without thinking about all the intricate details. From when I got pregnant and I knew I was carrying a boy.
Wow.
I started thinking about all the different avenues.
Wow.
Like that's the real weight of a parent. When you really deep it, it's a responsibility. I've run out of time, but I have small things, very short and sweet.
Cool. 3
words that you associate with yourself or describe yourself during your madness.
Oh, 3 words. Stand up. If you're right, you're right. Yeah. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. Does that make sense?
That's to describe.
Oh, so okay, describe me. Stand up guy.
But no, when you're doing a madness.
I was the stand up guy, bro. Yeah.
Were you stupid?
No, I had lack of you put me on the spot. This is good, man.
Good.
Yeah.
Not so good for the camera guy.
Yeah, sorry,
He's like,
man.
Hebz,
He's like, hurry up. Okay,
wrap
sorry,
it
my
up.
bad. All right, cool.
Laden, I love you. So
foolish.
So when you reflect who you were then and who you are
foolish.
today.
I was foolish. Short-sighted.
Mm.
And had misguided principles.
Okay, we'll use sentences instead of words. That will run. That's calm.
Yeah, sorry, man.
No,
I
it's
couldn't
fine.
say
I put
words.
you on the spot.
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
let you have it. All
Yeah.
right. So now you, as a man you are today.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself?
Content,
Mm-hmm.
humble, or try to be humble.
Yeah.
Always try to do what's right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Try to, innit? Yeah.
Zakarriyah.
Zakarriyah.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Before we cut,
Yeah.
please explain what it is you do.
Okay.
And also people can find you, because
Okay.
obviously I'm hoping people who are watching will be able to identify with stuff or might have someone that they want to get you in contact with.
No problems.
vice
I'm always
versa.
down for that. I'm the host of Life After Prison, the host of X Conversation, and founder of X Conversation. We run workshops, programs. I also work with Social Arc, and we work with young people in East London to help get their social enterprises off the ground. We really champion that. So you can find me at Zakarriyah Khalil 7. You got my Insta.
I'll tag it. Don't
Cool.
worry.
After Prison Pod,
Mm-hmm.
X Conversation UK, and at Social Arc CIO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any final words?
God doesn't place anything on a soul that it can't bear.
That's it. Full circle. It's cool. Guys, you have been watching and listening to Growing Up Britishh. I'm Mama Hebz. You can catch me on I'm Hebz on Instagram with a Z, Growing Up British.h. Also on Instagram on my YouTube handle, because they introduced it now, Mama Hebz, where you can watch this all live.
Oh yeah.
I've been waiting for this email. I'm like, yes, I got my handle.
They sent me that email as well, you know.
Do it. Hurry up
Okay,
before
cool.
someone scoops and takes your thing.
So is okay, I get it. I'm just like, wait, what do you mean YouTube handle?
Yes. Guys, it's been emotional. Thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, of a friend, of a friend, of a friend. Peace out.
Peace.
Grownish, smartish, British.
We are British, apparently.